today we are talking online reputation management and making the most of TripAdvisor. Now, TripAdvisor, when we think of the sharing economy, I think this was really the first the first insight of what's to come. So TripAdvisor, I'm sure we all know who they are and what they do and represent, and we will spend the later part of our webinar today really delving into getting the most out of TripAdvisor, and I've got some examples of good TripAdvising and some example of this is what I would encourage you not to do when we're TripAdvising. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, there's some names that I have not heard or I haven't had the opportunity to meet with you in the past, so just a little about me. I've been in tourism, really developing marketing, business initiatives, inbound and international projects in small business, in particular small business products, for over 15 years now. This journey into training, education and mentoring was the next real leap from that. I took a great interest in developing digital initiatives and seeing a tangible outcome when it comes to, you know, tourism specific and digital specific marketing initiatives that can really elevate our businesses and the powerful nature as small businesses of what these can do. So became an accredited tourism e-kit trainer and coach with the Australian Tourism Data Warehouse. And Global Ballooning is the company where I spent most of my time unpacking pretty much everything that I've learned in the transition from being very traditional to, I remember like it was yesterday, the first scathing review we had on TripAdvisor, and what I did to manage that, which I'll share with you a little later on. So what we will cover specifically today is why the heck does all of this matter? Why does it matter? Why should it matter to me? More importantly, your business. Online reputation strategy, so really putting it top of mind into what is online reputations and strategies to manage your online reputation, power of TripAdvisor, email marketing, and the TripAdvisor impact on organic search. I don't know about you, but anytime I plan a holiday or plan to book any type of accommodation or attraction for that matter, they sure do present themselves right up there. So we want to make sure we're honing in and leveraging this powerful tool as much as we are other platforms, be it social media or even your own other digital marketing activity. Reviews and how to respond to them. So treating reviews, and I'll share a little 5-step strategy around how to deal with negative reviews, but certainly we'll look at how to respond, or at least having somewhat of a policy. And it's funny, I mentored a client this morning, and it was something else because it's, online reputation is is ingrained in my brain. Out of curiosity, before this meeting, I went and kind of looked at all of their online footprint and what customers are saying about them, and there were we've got TripAdvisor, but they had really no idea of how many other review sites there are now. So as much as we're going to hone in on TripAdvisor, I'd really like to hit home for you today that this is only one of many when it comes to reviews, and this is something certainly I shared with you. I worked at Global Ballooning. TripAdvisor, even 5 years ago, was the only thing we focused on. Now in business, in any industry, not just travel, are really up for public opinion. Okay, so we no longer have this one-way communication that we tell you who we are, what we do, why we do it, and sell to the consumer. No, those days are so long gone, they're buried. It's over. Now it's a total two-way, and transparency is the key. Everybody can find everything, and really what the consumer says about our experiences really trumps what we say about ourselves. So I think can I have a hands up who does actually look to reviews and online communications from brands when it comes to your own holidays? Yes, I've got it's the screen has just lit up with my little hands. We have to take note of this, our own behavior. It matters and it counts, and we have to put this really at the forefront and embed it within our marketing mix and activity. So what other sites we should be paying attention to? So we go back to why does this matter? Let me share some of the latest that I could find stats anyway. So 96% of travelers start their planning with a search online. Yes, if I asked you guys the same question, I'm sure as do I. Yes, sometimes there may be a recommendation, but you still would go and do your searching and your researching through and via a search engine. Travelers are more likely to see what others say about your hotel/product before what you have to say about your experience. So this is just not, I think this is the most important thing. I put hotel in there, but really I need to say experience, even for, I think now it's critical. I've been doing some work with the local traders association, and all of this, it started with a hotel, but it certainly extended out to every industry. You look at, restaurants and the TripAdvisor equivalents even in that space, or for the local traders with different apps and search capabilities to find tradies even and review them. It slipped my mind now. There is one. You put in a job and they get back to you. If anyone knows, let me know in the question box if you've used it. But yeah, for every industry there is some form of a review process for consumers to go and leave feedback. Your reviews and online reputation is one of the utmost criteria for making a final decision. Absolutely, I do definitely. Airtasker, yes, that's one as well. Airtasker, Karen's just shared with us. But there's another one specific for tradies, like you look for an electrician. There's High Pages is the one I'm thinking about. High Pages is an app and a service. You can go on and put in the job that you're asking for, and they can come back, and it's got the same functionality. So higher ratings means you have a good reputation, automatically driving demand. So at a glance, if we see a 4-point-something star looking at the top end of the scale, we know we're dealing with a good, reputable product and experience. At the lower end, I can speak from personal experience, and all of this research from Google, was a particular one was from a Google study. If your overall reviews are 3 stars and under, you're just not going to earn that click to even open that profile. Okay, so we need to keep these things in mind. According to TripAdvisor, 93% of people find reviews important when choosing hotels. 53% will not book a hotel without having a guest opinion, and your online reputations need to become an essential part of your marketing mix. Absolutely. So when it comes, there's another piece of research from Census social media report, and if you want to look into more of this report, it's really great stuff, and I do love to get onto these lists. It's really good for us to know the consumer trends, the wider consumer trends. So this census report revealed 74% of social media users read online reviews before making a purchase. The key takeaway here, I guess, is that we're not just talking TripAdvisor now. Okay, you look at your Facebook feed, how many of you can show a hand or give me a little yes or no in the question, how many of you has seen across your feed of your friend and your Facebook community ask for a recommendation? Whether it's I'm going to X, what do you recommend I do? Or I'm going to, we're planning a trip here. Where do you recommend I stay? We're going here. Where do you recommend I eat? Even down to, can anyone recommend a cabinet maker or the like? So this is another form of, I guess, online reputation where social media is really extended to just not reviews, but this whole recommendation outreach well beyond your own close-knit circle. Okay, so trusting in the consumer trust friends more, consumers trust friends more than brands. So with this particular study for census, it was astronomically over to recommendations from people I know, I trust a lot more than, for example, an online ad, which is at 33%. Consumer opinions posted online, but I was just sharing with you earlier, can anybody make a recommendation? 70%. And branded websites. So having a really good looking sexy website is important. So if your website needs some loving, please give it, because it's 2017. It's a critical part of your business. Please make the investment to give it a uplift and bring it into the current online experiential time. So when we're talking about experiences, a poor website will do just as much damage to your online reputation as much as a poor review. So you could have earned a 5-star, but then go to a website, the user experience with a brand, as I'm sure you can appreciate, starts well before they've come and done your product or stayed with you or eaten with you. Okay, so we need to keep these things in mind. Best way to get reviews. I get this question all the time. What's the best way to get reviews? And I say do a really, really great job and earn them, number one. But the second is, if you don't see what you don't, if you don't see what you want, ask for it. So if you're not getting the reviews that you want, you need to implement a strategy to ask for them. I practice what I preach, and I do this I do this myself. I can have 0 reviews, but the minute I can reach out and I've put them as part of a strategy, my reviews went up 100%. Go figure. Okay, so if you don't currently have some type of a follow-up system, this is something I would highly recommend you do. So for example, in my own experience with a ground product, with a hot air balloon product, this is something that we implemented, that as part of the process, we weren't done when passengers flew. We weren't done there. There was a follow-up email to, number one, express gratitude and thank our customers and our passengers for choosing us, because there are other options. They've looked around, they've done their homework. We need to say, well, thank you very much for choosing us, and how did you go? What did you think? So we actually sought feedback first. So we want to keep continuing to do a really good job. How did you find your experience to help us be better? The final part is, if you loved your experience, here are some places where you can leave a review from us. In the same token, it's also done at the face-to-face level. Okay, so there was a process with our operations team that they would plant the first seed. Now, I remember a pilot would always say, now you're part of our marketing team, please go and spread the love online. And we developed these business-sized cards. I've got everything under the sun in here. So, I mean, you know what a business card looks like, but we actually produced a card that we could then go and it had our unique URLs of where they can go directly and leave a TripAdvisor review. So make it really easy. Ask for it, but also make it easy, because people do forget. I know I'm a cardinal sinner of this, that I go, oh, I must go give them so much love, and then I don't, but they don't follow up. There's no reminders. There's nothing to plant. We're busy. Your customers are busy. So plant some seeds and have some touch points after the delivery of your experience to be able to do that. How are we sounding so far? Is this good? So give me it seems like you're very, very quiet. Everyone's at Mim. Is that little hand up? Do you have a question, or you're all good? Thanks, Emily. We'll carry on. Thanks, Karen. Okay, so different ways that small businesses ask customers to write. So this, again, this is a collective from a census survey. Different ways. Ask customers in person. This is a big one, because here's the thing. If you do it in person, we're all traveling with these babies. So if you do it in person, you can even encourage them to say, hey, let's go and, hey, you know, you can do it now if you like, while you wait, while I print your invoice, or while I do this, or while you wait, here's our TripAdvisor, would love to have your review. So if you can not only ask them in person, but get them to do it in person, that would be amazing. So emailing your customers, having a follow-up, asking over social, calling customers, and I need to share this example with you. In last year, I organised my husband's 40th birthday. I got a DJ. I found him on Google. I definitely chose him because of his exceptional Google reviews. It was like, out of all the DJs that were presented to me, he had like a significant number of reviews. And I'm like, boy, this guy must be awesome. And he was. But what's happened is, after the event, I got a call and said, how was it? And it was like, oh my God, it was amazing. You guys rocked. And then he proceeded to tell me his follow-up system. So Despina, it really, as small businesses, Google reviews really mean a lot to us. Could I ask that exactly what you've just told me, you could go online and pop it in a review? I'll send you an email with instructions step by step of what you need to do. So regardless, whether I'm techie or whether I'm not, he sent me an email just like that with step-by-step instructions. 1, Google this, then go here, then click your star rating, preferably. So it gave me visuals and like a PDF instructions on what to do. Now, on the phone, as you do, I get busy. Oh, you know, yes, I'll do it now. Then I hang up the phone. I have to attend to a child. I have to attend to a meeting. I have to attend to a training. Life gets busy. 2 days pass. I haven't done the review. Jason calls me again. Oh, Despina, just checking in. Sorry to be a pain, but I noticed you haven't left a review yet. Just see if there was any problem. So now, some people that I share with you say, oh, that would be annoying, but I actually really appreciated it because I enjoyed the service, I enjoyed the experience, and I wanted to do this for him. So he persisted, and hence, this is why he's got an amazing collection of reviews. I hope that that sharing that story might inspire you to think a little bit differently on your hustle to create some action, because this is really important when we're talking online reputation. Post a request on website, work with a vendor that helps me get reviews, so working with a third party, mail your customers. So actually, you know, that would not be a bad idea either. I mean, 8% of them do that, but would that knock your socks off if you've just had an amazing holiday and your hotel sent you a handwritten thank you card and then put in something about, if you loved your stay, it will mean the world to us if you left a review here, XYZ. I hope your little minds are going ding, 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 ding. Yes. Okay, so we want cut through, we want to wow and delight. Okay, so if we want, I love, you know, when I think mail my customers, it's just doing something unexpected, and there's nothing more unexpected these days than getting something other than a bill in your letterbox. So I'll leave that one there. Please guys, fire away if you've got any questions. So do you know what people are actually saying about you online? No longer acceptable to have a few great reviews on one platform and expect everyone will just read there, okay? So if you do have a Facebook page, have you activated your reviews there? If you have a TripAdvisor, I'm assuming, you know, especially depending on what type of business you have, you might have a TripAdvisor review, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that you definitely all have set up your Google reviews. And if you want, I'm not going to go into any of that, we can park that for another time, but certainly I'll just Google my business. For every business, I want to make sure, if you just Google my business, and actually go and Google your own business and see that that is activated to be receiving reviews, okay? Because particularly when it comes to Google, we saw earlier, the first point is search engines. Google is dominating in the search engine space still and has for a very long time. Now, all of this matters in indexing your content. So when, and I always refer to this as that dreamy honeymoon state, sometimes your future visitors and future guests or future passengers, future customers, they don't know what they even want yet. They're in that dreamlike state saying, oh, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And at that point is when we want to be presenting ourselves, excuse me, and presenting our business. So we have to think about this, that it matters to be for your, not just your online reputation, making sure that you're found in multiple platforms also helps and research again from EY, I think they're called, EY, and they conducted this cost of complaining survey, and it was based on quantitative data collected from over 900 respondents across Australia. And I really I really happy dance when I see research that's Australia focused, because there's a lot from overseas that sometimes, yeah, I can find these awesome things that, oh, it's the States, but this is for Australia. But how's this for some research? Poor customer experience is costing the business community in this country $40 billion per year. If you were to average this out, Australian businesses are losing more than $720 for every negative customer experience. So if we think now, we can take we kind of tend to take them lightly, or in the example of this morning with the client, they had a negative review, They responded. They weren't happy with the answer that the business was responded to and deleted the review. Now, if there's a do's and don'ts, this is something I would highly, highly recommend you never do. You never go deleting your reviews. You, if anybody, this is the way I see it, if anybody has taken the time to give you a review and it's negative, I just take it as constructive feedback. We are always a work in progress to improve. We're not perfect. It's progression, not perfection. And if someone's given us a negative review, I just go, great. This person's just given us a greatest gift of establishing a gap in our business that we've overlooked. Okay, so because here's the result of that. There's a negative review. It can cost us up to $720 for every customer. $40 billion of annual consumer spending is impacted by poor customer experiences. And when we're thinking about complainers, it was identified there are 4 types. The walkers, I can get a better experience with another provider. They've got no connection. They've got 0 care factor and really don't. You know, people can move on very quickly, as we know. It's very easy to find someone else that can deliver the same thing, but not quite the same as you, because you guys are awesome and special. The sulkers, they're all the same. I can't be bothered, so I'll stay, but I'm not happy and I'll complain. The private talkers, I want this issue resolved, but they're happy to do it privately and talk to their friends and their parents and their family, but they won't publicly go and, you know, scream it from the rooftops. But there are the other kind, and these are the kind likely to go online and give negative rants, and that's the public talkers. People need to be aware. Do not go here. Do not do this. Do not eat that. Okay, so we're kind of now we can put them into some categories of who we're dealing with. And when we are particularly with the public talkers, a great strategy I would always encourage, and something that I would always implement myself, is doing our best to get them offline to a private dialogue. So get them offline, send me an email, please give me your number, I'd love to give you a call, send me a private message with your details, and we'd love to, you know, we'd love to discover more about what you found, because this is invaluable for our business to make improvements. You get what I mean. Monitoring your feedback. So Google Plus, Facebook. Now we've got TripAdvisor, but you think Booking.com, Expedia, Hotels.com, Yelp. What was the other one? Zomato. It's like tomato. I just need to have a little drink here. Zomato. So there's a lot more. This is what we was referring to earlier, that although we're going to put a little bit of a spotlight on TripAdvisor, we have to extend ourselves way beyond that. So I've got this case study here of Cambridge Hotel. Okay, so what I love about here is that they've actually embedded reviews, and the way I like to differentiate things of your online footprint and your online reputation is, guys, and this is why now the more I've been doing what I do, the more I am really reiterating, and I love to share really good practice examples for you to be inspired by. But certainly to just, what I was alluding to earlier, just planting the seed to give your website some love. And this is a great website to draw some inspiration from. Because this is the difference. Everything centers around your own mother hub. This is your mothership. This is ground zero for you, because this is online property that you own. Okay, everything else that we talk about, TripAdvisors, Facebooks, Instagram, any social, any other thing, that is what your businesses, that's rented space for your business. You don't own the community there. You don't own the reviews there. You don't, like, it's the algorithms call the shots. Whereas with your website, your own property, this is something that you want to harness and focus these things, that you want to feature your reviews and what others say about you on your own platform. So Cambridge Hotel, they have a reviews system, a reviews tab on their page. Now, as you can see, I wanted to share, this was so cool. They make things really clear about where they're at. Now, you can see here, you go to their TripAdvisor review, TripAdvisor page, their listing, and presents you with different options to book their product from. So you've got booking.com and What If and TripAdvisor, and I think we've got an online bookability. So 15th of June is when we're going to be talking a little bit more and delving deep. But I wanted to give you a little insight, because here's Cambridge Hotel. They've also, as soon as you land on the website, they give a little pop-up with an incentive to book direct, okay? The other thing that they do in their reviews section, they've gone in and populated all the reviews from all the different channels that can sit and live within their own page. So you can see here, they've named it like Social Buzz guest reviews. They've got booking.com, there's Expedia, they've got the widget from TripAdvisor. What I love about this is the transparency, to say we don't want to, because something that a lot of businesses do is they'll have testimonials or reviews, but it's only the good stuff. It's selective. So I know I did this way back as well. When we have a good review, we copy and paste and put it on our website. But heck no, I'm going to post a negative review on my website. What I love about this is that it's saying, here you go. Here's one place. It's sitting on the property I own, and here's what everybody has to say. Do you love that? Who loves that? Does anybody love that as much as I do? Yes, no, you're so quiet. Yay. Thank you, Karen. Thanks, Dennis. Okay, so there's a good example. Now, if you want to know how they did that, that's when we said kind of outsourcing, I kind of delved into it and looked. It's a company called Revenate. And under products, this is one of their products. I've put the power of guest feedback to work for your hotel or your brand. So it's Revenate Reputation. So there's a tool for you, and I only recently discovered it, and I was like, thank God, it's come to me before I have to deliver this training. So Revenate. I need to look further into, what I didn't see is what the cost was. So there might be a cost involved. I'm not sure how much, but it's worth checking out. The other way to monitor reviews is through your Google Alerts. So Google Alerts basically can alert you by way of an email to how who, what, where, how, what's been said about you on the World Wide Web. So you can go in and enter terms, if more than two. So you can enter terms into, by the way, I could go and enter, decoding digital marketing. That's a new online course that I have coming up. So I could actually go and enter that term into my Google Alerts. I confirm my email address, and then I can say every day, Mr. Google Man, I want you to email me anywhere on the web that it's listed decoding digital marketing. In the same way, you can put your business name, you can put your industry, you can put your destination. Now, without, I have to refrain from going into like digital marketing lingo, and that is the next one. We're going to BT it next week, content marketing. But this is another great way, and I'll reinforce this when we're talking about content marketing. For example, you put in your destination to receive as a Google alert, you will get some updated content, articles, news, information, something inspiring that might also inspire your audience for you to share. So it's good in two ways, not only to keep on tabs for your online reputation, but I find it's also great content inspiration and gold to share with your community. How can I assess and respond? Okay, so this is like strategy 101, the absolute basics that I would encourage you to have some type of a process or policy around, online reputation policy, review policy, whatever makes sense for you. This is a really good kind of template for you to say, okay, who responds and who reviewed? So who responds to the reviews? Someone needs to be allocated this task. If someone is not responsible and accountable, it can definitely slip, and before you know it, a year can pass and no one's addressed the reviews that have just happened. It happens all the time. So who responds, who reviewed, what was it about, what are we going to do about it? Okay, so what was the review about? So this is if we're having a negative review, what was it about, what are we going to do about it? Which medium did it appear? So was it on, where, even for you to first, before doing this list, where your reviews appear? But for a specific review, where did it appear? When was it posted, found, responded to? And how will we respond? So how will we respond? I would always encourage my team, we always lead in with gratitude, always, because I think positive or negative, I won't repeat myself again, but I just say always lead with showing gratitude for taking the time, and then addressing, thank you for it. Not just addressing, personalizing your response to the business. Now, you can have a pro forma, click, copy and paste for your reviews, but it's certainly, in this day and age, content is king. I think the king now is connection, and I think that connection resonates a lot more with not just the customer that's had your experience, but the person that's reading, kind of checking you out to see whether you're worthy, to show how much loving you give to these things. So how will we respond? Lead with gratitude. That could be a good strategy. Lead with gratitude, personalized response to the review. So we can really, we know the cut and paste. You can always tell. So shall I respond to every review? Yes. I've received a negative review which wasn't justified. Can I remove it? No. Okay, now I have been the victim of this as well. If any of you have experienced the same, some reviews that may not be justified, or, this person didn't even stay with us. There's always one person in my trainings that will have a scenario where they will say, oh, I had a review and it was scathing, and I looked at the books and they didn't even stay with us. Well, still, that is still a response. Hey, hi, Jason. I can't seem to find any details about your booking. Please, can you give me a call with your reference number? I would love, this is a high priority for me. I would love to address it. If there's no reply back, then we know. So something like that is a good workaround anyway for that. But removing it yeah, I wouldn't encourage that. Can I pay or reward people who leave reviews? You can reward them, like I said earlier, with your gratitude. Think if people respond to honesty, and anybody, our guys at Global could get in front of the bus and say, look, this means a lot to us if you could just go on and send a review, whether you're a tour operator or training your front office staff to reward people with gratitude and empathy and honesty. But really, you can definitely not pay, and you could definitely not reward, and you would be penalized if TripAdvisor catches on that you would do that. So they do run a tight ship with these things. Do I have to pay to be listed on online reviews? Now there is. Back in the day where everything was free, Facebook was free and TripAdvisor was free. Most platforms like this, including TripAdvisor, do have paid options. Do you need to go there? Not necessarily. I think if you work it and give it love, making sure your images are up to date, making sure your bio is up to date, making sure your links are up to date, you do not have to pay. These are all freemium websites, but you want to go pro and go premium, the option is there if that's something that suits your budget. And I always say you have a business outcome aligned to that. Don't just go and paying for TripAdvisor thinking it's going to put me on top of the list and rule the TripAdvisor world. Actually pay attention to what you're spending and what you are going to measure out of this for your business, because I certainly never paid for TripAdvisor. Most of my clients don't pay for the TripAdvisor listing, and I don't really think for small businesses you need to go there. Honesty, integrity, excellence, really power words here for all of us in business and to hold ourselves accountable to. So this is an example of the ACCC actually taking action against a business who they found their testimonials and the reviews not being genuine. So I wanted to add this on there, and I've put in a ACC resource to go and Google online reviews, a guide for business and review platforms. So if you want to take it that next step with your strategy and get some more insight, this would be a good resource for you. Any questions, comments? How are we feeling? We're good. Enjoying some online reputation content. Excellent. Excellent. So let's have a look at the star of the show for TripAdvisor. So here are the things we're going to look at. So what's TripAdvisor, why we can't afford to ignore it, how to make the most of our listing, how to deal with the negative reviews, and how to encourage reviews, particularly positive ones. Okay, so what's TripAdvisor? I'm going to skip this one. We all know it's advice, opinions, reviews, information, travel destination, related travel product. Now, it used to be 100% a hotel review platform. They acquired Viator, Viator being land product only, no hotel. So it was like a marriage made in heaven when I heard that. So both two very successful online, well, one was an online travel agency, the other just a review platform. But you see, like the example I showed you before of Cambridge Hotel, is totally gone OTA on us. So Viator coming in, there is also ability there to leave reviews for all product. Some fast and furious facts and stats. So 320 million review globally. I'm sure that has gone up. Now 6.2 million businesses across 128,000 destinations. So we're including cities, regions, the lot. More than 53 million candid traveler photos, 200 new contributions posted per minute. Let's get our head around that. 200 people a minute going to leave a review. It's quite astounding. So more than 85% of questions are replied to by other travellers. So this is sharing economy in information and education. It's just astounding how many, I guess, section of the TripAdvisor there are where it's almost like just the travellers know they're there, but businesses don't go in and check because there's forums in TripAdvisor. How powerful is that as destination marketers and products to be the influencer to go in and serve and help? It's very powerful. So TripAdvisor mobile users have downloaded the app more than, it's all whopping. Nearly 50% of users visited TripAdvisor via tablet or phone. I think with everything going mobile is taking a whole life of its own. So near me now, find nearby restaurants, attractions and hotels on the go. So these are mobile innovation initiatives which you may or may not know about. So this is how important in this and how much would we love to feature if a visitor is in destination and turning to a feature like this, that is one of the most commonly asked questions on a Google search of in-market travelers. So, the pre-booking may be, kind of on the downward scale, but opportunistic, what is 5 kilometers, where can I 5 kilometers away from me? All of this digital mobile technology is now so readily available. So this near me now, we want to make sure that this is something that we feature, that our businesses are featuring. Offline features allows travelers to download TripAdvisor reviews and the lot. Neighborhood, this is another feature and mobile innovation that's been implemented, allowing users to discover and explore neighborhoods within popular tourist destinations. Very, very clever. God, I'm not even touching on Airbnb. I think Airbnb now, even them, they're doing experiences. So we kind of went, oh, what's this? They're sharing houses and, what does this mean for accommodation? We're now tour operators in that same boat because now there's experiences. Any Tom or Jane or Jill or Jade can go and start a walking tour or can go because this whole concept of live like a local, and there's a whole entire review process. TripAdvisor, yes, absolutely built on user-generated content, reviews and tips, posted, registered users, and the like. So just some features to go through quickly. Instant bookings, comparisons, it's amazing. Just even doing research, putting in a hotel, and boy, are your competitors presented to you. So there are a lot of hotel comparisons because just like we should as businesses put the customer experience number one, so are they. They want to deliver an amazing user experience for the TripAdvisor user. So they say, well, we don't want you to hunt back and forth. Once you're looking for something, we'll present you with some more options. You can go and do your little research. Tours feature, where this Viator integration happens. Forums, please, as part of your homework now, when maybe I'll check in with you next week when we meet for Content 101. If you checked out forums, please go into your destination and your region and see if there's anything posted in forums. It always surprises me how much is shared in there, or how much, when we say that, recommendations are sought, so much activity and questions are asked specifically about destination in TripAdvisor forums. Yes, absolutely, ranking. I'm just looking at the time and need to do a little fly through. It's totally based on ranking. 93% and 96%. So 93% of travelers say their booking decisions are impacted by online reviews, and 96% of hotels say reviews are important for bookings. Here's another example of a review with Lake Krakenbach. So it works because there's enormous value on review. Obviously, we've talked about that. Trust peer reviews. I guess TripAdvisor is the vehicle that's facilitating this process. Reputation management. This is another study from the Center for Hospitality Research. Number one, the thing that they found, they're visiting more and more frequently prior to booking. Properties with stronger reputations across all channels perform better overall. Going back to that, let's spread our wings and our love to other mediums. High review scores allow hotels to charge more while maintaining occupancy rates, which I thought would be an interesting thing to share. Only 1 of 4 hoteliers, specifically for all my accommodation friends, are taking advantage of the management center tool. So I've put in some resources there, tripadvisor.com/owners, and if you haven't already, please go in there and make sure you're claiming your listing, because again, I go back to this client this morning, they didn't even know they had 26 reviews on TripAdvisor, and all of the imagery was user, like, their visitors had posted the images, but they had no idea it was there. So I want you to go give your TripAdvisor listing some love. So it's exposure on steroids, connects to millions of visitors. It's a free, unless you pay for a listing. It's absolutely easy to set up. Now, registered business owners, this is an important one. So your Airbnb friends don't feature on TripAdvisor. So everything else is self-explanatory. And feedback, this is important. Feedback helps to identify any improvements that can be made, which is really important. You can't ignore it. So even if you haven't registered your business, anybody can request that a listing be created. That's really important for you to know and for you to share within your own community, that anybody can go, if I visited somewhere and they don't have a listing, this is what happened to this client this morning, I can go and create one. And then where's the control, the power, the influence on your online reputation? So yes, absolutely, makes sense to monitor. So TripAdvisor on your website, I showed you an example earlier of how you can embed. This needs some coding, and you would need to reach out to your web designer to make that happen. Dealing with negative reviews. Look, I'm just going to skip straight to the steps of dealing with your negative reviews. So this is where I wanted to just to reiterate. So TripAdvisor research found 64% of users agree that an aggressive defensive management response to a bad review makes me feel less likely to book a hotel, whereas 84% of users agree that an appropriate management response to a bad review improves my impression on the hotel. So always responding to negative reviews is a great way to show your care factor. So embracing feedback and dealing with negative reviews, remaining courteous, sticking to facts, thanking, explaining, responses must meet TripAdvisor policy also. I addressed a reviewer in the past as their name, and TripAdvisor wouldn't let me publish it because they found it aggressive that I addressed their name. I know. So little things like that, they still have the power to publish or not. So they do watch and field these things. So more reviews lead to high rating. The good thing is that the average review score across the board is 4.12. So 50% almost on the platform, the millions that are there, are 5 stars. So being proactive in minimizing the impact of negative reviews, like I said, showing your product in a positive light, and absolutely making sure that you showing your product in a positive light, and making sure that you are responding. Review Express, this is a feature in your owner section in the back end, and this is a feature within the platform that they can send a TripAdvisor specific email, a templated email, to increase those reviews coming in for your business. So management responses matter. 77% of respondents say seeing a hotel management response to reviews makes me believe that it cares. 87% say an appropriate management response to a bad review improves my impression. So I've got some details here of what to do. I will share these slides with you. I'll send them to you, Karen, to forward as a follow-up to everyone with the recording. So here I've got just what not to do without going into it. I mean, if you want a good breakfast, go to the Hilton and pay £100 a night. You pay little, you get little. No. Here's another one, what not to do. So this is a response from this particular review. Actually went viral from a very popular tapas restaurant where the owner just doesn't take criticism too well, and responded in a way that it just doesn't do good for anyone's reputation, responding in this way, saying, well, hundreds of people love me and always say good things, and your review says a lot more about you than it does about the business Volare. Yeah, I know none of you would do that, but it's good to point out. So dealing with negative reviews, not good. A 5-step response process. Don't get defensive. Apologize where there's been an inconvenience. Be brief. Keep it short and sweet. Get them offline. Follow up. Important to say how this was fixed for them. It will, this is all the difference between someone leaving and contributing to the 40 billion of customer complaints that are costing businesses. The difference between that and the difference of them actually returning to you. And number 5, invite them to return. So invite them to come back. You don't have to give them a freebie, and I would never encourage you to publicly say, well, come and have a meal on us, okay, because that could kind of set precedent for the cheeky ones that go in there and say, oh, well, I'll complain. They seem to give a free something to every bad review. I'll just complain to get a freebie to go again. So don't do that, but definitely invite them to come back and return to experience your product the way it's meant to be. So encouraging more reviews. We went over that into different ways that you can encourage and ask for the review. If we never ask, the answer will always be no. And don't forget your website. So visual love and more positive reviews. I'm just flying through this now, guys. I'm so sorry. We've gone a little bit over. So TripAdvisor, this is really important on the algorithm that TripAdvisor sets and how it ranks. So it's over the quality, the recency, and the quantity of reviews that gives you that, the 3 key ingredients to give you that overall rating. So we just want to do good in all of those things. So to just have a wrap up here, we want you to look at this and say, okay, it is the most popular reputation management tool for our businesses in the industry. You don't have to register your business on TripAdvisor to have a profile, so you can't avoid it. Please, if you've never seen TripAdvisor or you don't think you're on it, you probably are, so go and have a check. respond to negative reviews promptly is always the key. I will hang around for questions for anyone that's got time. I am more than happy to hang back. So, practice what I preach. Did you love this session? My TripAdvisor is my Facebook page. I would love for you, if you enjoyed this session, to spread the word over here at facebook.com, Despina Karatzias, and /reviews. It will mean the world to me, and I would be really, really grateful if you could leave me a review. So yes, if you never ask, chances are you might be encouraged to do that if you haven't had a good experience on this webinar. I do appreciate we've gone a little bit over, but if you haven't had a good experience, I would still love to know in a private message. Okay, so send me an email or head over in a private message on my Facebook. Now, I am starting a digital marketing course in the same format. It's consecutive for 6 weeks starting next Wednesday. We're going to meet on Thursday, but on Wednesday I'm going to go through a 360 overview of digital marketing for small business. If this is something that it would be an interest of you, it's $250. I'm offering you guys, just for being action takers, 25% off that. It's over 10 hours worth of content. Everything will be recorded, so even if you can't make the live session, you can have access to the recording. Okay, so I'll give you more information about that, and that's the wrap. I want to thank you so much for your time and your attendance and your attention. Thank you. We've gone over, but I can see everybody is still on the line, which I really, really appreciate. So any questions? If you want to have a chat, please, thank you. Dennis, thank you. Appreciate the content and references. My absolute pleasure. Thank you, Dennis. Any other insights, anything to share? Questions, insights, aha moments that we can all learn from, that I can read out, please do share. Otherwise, there's nothing coming through. I appreciate you. We can all go on and have some lunch or have an afternoon tea or get back to our busy little lives. So I thank you guys. I will I'll thank you, Karen. Thanks heaps to say on TripAdvisor now. You go. That's total action. Oh, thanks, Karen. Thank you for joining us too. We've had Karen Oliver, who is looking after industry training and development at the moment, join us as well. Appreciate you, KO. Okay, so if there's no other questions, we can leave it at that. So here is to your online reputation, TripAdvisor excellence, guys, today and every single day. And I will look forward to seeing you same day, same place next week. So next week, the 25th of May, for those of you that have not registered for 25th of May, you can go on to the website. It's MRT. We're talking all about content marketing. So I've become a quintessential DIY marketer, and I want to share absolutely everything with you next Thursday. So tell all your friends and come and join us for a little content marketing party next Thursday at 1 o'clock, okay? I will really look forward to seeing you. Could you please state once again what the ranking criteria for TripAdvisor is? Absolutely, that would be my pleasure. So there we go. I'll go right back and leave it. We had the quality, the recency, and the quantity of your reviews. So if you had one back in 2013 and haven't had one since, that wouldn't be a good thing. So look for quality reviews, recent reviews, and how many reviews are on there. So there's that one for you. Thank you for the question, Dennis. That would have served everyone. Okay. Thank you, Marilyn and Dennis and Emily and Karen's and Mims. I think that's it. I keep looking for questions. If that's not all, we'll call it a day for today. Okay. Big love to everyone. See you next Thursday. Bye for now.